Coming up on the Carlos Rosado Show, January 11th is a day of great events, and we'll remind you of them for on this day. We'll also celebrate famous birthdays for those who impacted the sports world and made it a better place. Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. That's fantastic. That's a happy birthday looking monkey right there. Lastly, Carlos Correa finally passed his physical and is headed back to the Twins. We'll detail the shortstop's wild journey in free agency. Minutes until game time. Your team is in the locker room. Guys are talking, watching last-minute film, or getting taped by trainers. Everyone's having side conversations, and they combine into an eruption of sound. Then your coach walks out. Now it's dead silent, because he's about to deliver the greatest pregame speech you've ever heard. National championship game. A pack of Georgia dogs huddle around head coach Kirby Smart, and before they create terror on that field, this is what Smart tells them.
It's easy. Look at the right. Punish their ass on offense and kick their ass on teams, guys. It's about who the f we are. I believe in you. Let's go.
Here's a quick reminder of what happened. Georgia entered the game with the opportunity to go back-to-back. TCU winning their third ever title. First quarter, Frogs at the 2. Duggan keeps it, runs untouched into the end zone. Horned Frogs cut the lead to 3. But congratulations to the Georgia Bulldogs for winning 65-7 and having the largest victory in bowl game history. Kirby Smart in his pregame speeches go repeat as champions for the first time since calling defensive plays for the Crimson Tide. Baseball's biggest free agent has found himself a home after what could possibly be the funniest offseason drama in recent history. Carlos Correa opted out of his 3-year, $105 million deal with the Minnesota Twins after just a single year. Surely he finds his new team, right? The shortstop signed a $350 million deal with the San Francisco Giants but failed his physical. The cheater then signed a $315 million deal with the Mets, baby, but again failed his physical. After having the opportunity to play for 2 prestigious franchises, Correa finally finalized the deal with Minnesota. Took a little bit to get to that, but believe it or not, he actually passed this physical. The former cheater not only got 6 years, but $200 million and also first-class tickets to Cancun every October for the next half-decade. January 11th is a day with remarkable births, and while you're in the bathroom watching this video, join us in celebrating these famous birthdays. Happy birthday to 2-time Xfinity Series champion and current NASCAR Cup Series driver Tyler Reddick. He turns 27. Former UFC lightweight champion Eddie Alvarez turns 39 years old today. Alvarez lost his title after being knocked out by Conor McGregor at UFC 205. You know him, you love him, the Diesel, the Big Leprechaun, witness protection, NBA legend Shaquille O'Neal's son, Sharif O'Neal, turns 23. Last but not least, the former Titans' 5th overall pick in the 2017 NFL Draft, Corey Davis, turns 28. Speaking about the Tennessee Titans, they lost 7 straight games to end the year, choking the division to the Jacksonville Jaguars. But it's not their fault. I mean, injuries and a terrible offensive coordinator. I mean, all of that. Anyway, after the break, we're covering Forrest Gump because it's my show, and he also has something to do with On This Day. So enjoy these 2 commercials I put in post-production. This is the Carlos Rosado Show.
Whopper, 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 Junior, Double, Triple, Whopper, flame grill taste with perfect toppers. I rule this day. Lettuce, mayo, pickle, ketchup, it's okay if I don't want that Impossible or bacon Whopper, any Whopper my way. You rule your season today at BK. Have it your way.
Scott, I want you to do something.
Not doing that again.
I burned.
We both enjoyed that. Now I want you to introduce my greatest creation, the new Toasty Torpedo.
The new Toasty Torpedo?
Yes, Scott. You make one.
Me?
Put it in me, Scott. It's over a foot of Quiznos flavor on Slim Sleek Ciabatta for only $4. Say it, Scott.
Only $4?
Say it sexy.
Only $4?
Sexier.
Only $4.
Quiznos. Toasty.
Welcome back to the Carlos Rosado Show. Now it's time for On This Day, where we acknowledge significant moments that happened on this day. In 1893, the Dutch athlete Jaap Eden skated the world record on the 1500 meter with 2 minutes and 35 seconds. He currently also holds several world records. In 1949, on this day, George Foreman was born the day before. Pakistani cricket batsman Hanif Mohammed in 1959 scored 499 in one game against some random Bollywood teams. It became the new first-class world record. In 1987, John Elway and the Broncos executed what is called the drive. In the AFC Championship game against the Browns, Elway drove up the field an expiring clock to tie up the game. Later in overtime, the Broncos won 20-17. Denver advanced to Super Bowl 21, but lost to the New York Giants. A year later, the Dove country of Russia announced they would compete in the 1988 Summer Olympics, despite the Cold War continuing throughout that time. 2004, 4th and 26. Donovan McNabb for the Eagles converts the fourth down and expiring clock, resulting in a game-tying field goal. Later in overtime, the Eagles clinched the game over the Green Bay Packers. 2015, Chiefs heads up by 5, 26-21 to the Cowboys. Des Bryant makes an incredible catch that would have helped the Cowboys win, but unfortunately it was overturned and the Cowboys lost. Rest in peace. And now remembrance of an athlete that won't ever be forgotten. The GOAT, the man, the legend, Hannes. Hannes Kolehmainen, a devoted vegetarian and bricklayer by trade, won 4 gold medals for Finland. He currently holds world records for middle and long distance running. Hans was incredible, a man of stature, and we won't ever forget him. January 11th also saw the premiere of former All-American University of Alabama kick returner Forrest Gump. So in his honor, we broke down highlights of the football star, Vietnam vet, and ping pong Olympian. One of the most famous plays in Crimson Tide history against the mighty Tennessee Volunteers at that time, Ingram Colwell hands it off to Gump, who is very dazed and very confused, but only knows to go fast. Gump blazes through that Volunteer kickoff unit and just keeps blazing. Now, one thing about Forrest Gump is he had a 70 IQ and his awareness wasn't there. So he knew to run, but he never knew when to stop running. See, obviously in football, when you reach the end zone, that's when you stop because that's when you scored the touchdown. But he ran right through the band, pummeled the $1 million band of the Alabama Crimson Tide, and that was his last ever game in Bryant-Denny Stadium. I don't even think that was Bryant-Denny Stadium. Gump's 1969 combine numbers were unofficial. His speed blazing a record 4 flat 40-yard dash. Everything else not so much. Gump's crooked spine caused him to meander his way through the 3-cone drill and the vertical leap like an old man strolling to his curbside mailbox. According to TFM Archive, Forrest's football powers unfortunately ended after college as he traded his shoulder pads for an M16 to mow down Viet Congs on the battlefield. After all of that, our time has come to a close. Thanks for watching the Carlos Rosado Show. I'm your host, Carlos Rosado, and I just want to...